Everyone, Roger and James here from DisKingdom.com. In this episode, we are going to be talking all about Marvel's Infinity War, the first trailer that came out. I'm going to be honest, I've watched it, I don't know, about 10 times. I did make sure I watched it last night. I managed to find the 4K version and I'm watching it on my big screen, just going, hey, rewind. It just looks epic.
Yeah, it you can tell from the trailer that there's going to be a lot going on in the movie. Obviously, we knew that going into it, but just the number of cameos, number of characters showing up in the trailer by itself, I'm just hoping that we didn't see like all of the characters' appearance in there, because they've got a lot of people to fit into this movie.
Yeah. just see Black Widow walking, go, hi!
Oh, yeah. Hi, Widow, you're in this movie, and then never appears again. I think Black Widow's safe from that. Black Widow is one of the core characters, but we don't even see Ant-Man in the movie. No. We don't see Wasp.
I think he's on Captain. There was this really cool picture go around of just like someone had like superimposed him on Captain's shoulder as they're running through the forest of Wakanda. But this is where Marvel have gone, right? We've been doing this for 10 years. This is why it works. You can just show us all these different... you can show a trailer and you see these characters like Iron Man and Doctor Strange together, and it's like, you've put the time in to build this. When they're going to have that Thor versus Guardians mode, it's a shame they didn't keep that for the movie, not mention the Guardians, but of course they're going to want to push the Guardians are in this. But there's that thing of like, they have put so much effort into building this franchise. I hope it's like, in some ways, of how introducing a new character in this movie is going to be hard.
Well, I think they are going to be introducing Captain Marvel by Brie Larson's character. But yeah, for the most part, the only characters they're going to be introducing are Thanos and the Blackguard. So, because everyone else has already been established. Take some notes, Warner Brothers. This is how you do this.
Yeah.
You don't start with the Avengers. You build up to the Avengers, or the Justice League if we're talking DC. Obviously, we get little bits and pieces of what we can expect from the story. There's a giant wheel in the sky. We know that Thanos is getting little bits of the Infinity Gauntlet. He will probably have the entire Infinity Gauntlet constructed by the end of this movie, and that'll be the lead into the fourth movie. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Vision, though, because we see the his little gem seems to be not doing so hot at the moment.
The only thing I'm thinking of, what movies are between Infinity War and Infinity War 2, whatever they're calling it?
I believe Ant-Man and the Wasp will be one of them, and then possibly Captain Marvel. Pull it up on the other screen. I think those might be the two.
Because I was just thinking, because it's going to be difficult to kind of, if they leave it with like Thanos destroying everybody, they're still going to, maybe that's what, we're not going to see too much of Ant-Man and Wasp, because they're going to be after or happening at the same time, or I don't know. It's going to be difficult.
Well, that might be why Ant-Man's not in the trailer. He might be doing his own adventure, but obviously, I think Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be a standalone movie set, either in a different time frame or whatever. Captain Marvel, we already know, is being set in the past. It's going to be her origin story, where in the 1990s or 80s or whenever it takes place, she gets shuffled off into the cosmic side of things. It's going to be very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. But yeah, we'll see how this goes.
But going back to the trailer, Spider-Man in his full-on iron suit kind of thing. Having only just watched Spider-Man Homecoming again the other night, that kind of like, whoa! Because that was straight into, it's like, okay, cool, we got Spider-Man showing up, but looking badass. Sort of obviously Captain America coming out of the shadows, and, you got Bucky out there shooting. It was so action-packed, but also showing off that thing of they're all suffering. Everyone's going, who's dying, and I'm a bit like, why is this obsession with killing? It's like, we're in comic books. No character in comic books die. They bring them all back. It's like, it's like Quicksilver. Don't kill them off in movies, because in the movie world, they can never return.
But I think the big issue isn't necessarily that people want characters to die. It's just that we're fully aware that a large number of the contracts from the Phase 1 actors will be ending after Avengers 4. And some of them will come back for cameos, but it would not surprise me if not killed, but many of them at least had that sunset moment where they're like, I'm handing off the reins to the next generation. I could see Captain America finally getting that retirement that he so richly deserves, maybe with Sharon Carter, maybe, just off on his own. Tony becoming like a background character. Iron Man is now fully automated, so they could still have the suit show up, but Tony himself is, he's working in the back room kind of thing. That's the kind of thing I expect because, when they signed these guys, they got them for a very, very small amount of money, relatively speaking. And if you need to re-sign Robert Downey Jr. to play Iron Man, it's not going to be cheap.
No, but I think the thing about age comes up a bit because
that too.
But Iron Man's easy because he can just do voiceover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The suit is automated, so now you can have anybody in the suit or nobody at all. It can be completely CG, and you just record some voice lines of him going, Peter, what did I tell you about using your suit that way? That kind of thing.
Because I was just looking here, like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he was 83, so he's only like 30. To me, he's got like another 10. He could probably do this another 10 years at least in him, because he's still only in his mid 30s at this point. So that feels like that he could. And I would think he would re-sign because he does look like he's having a lot of fun with it. The only one that really kind of, to me, that says like wouldn't re-sign would be like Captain America. But then I also think like just switch the characters, bring a new act. You can bring Captain America back and just be like, I'm a different actor. Well, you've done it with Hulk. You've done it with War Machine. Don't get into this thing of this actor is this person, because we don't need that anymore. These are how many Spider-Man actors have we had, or Batman? You can swap Batmans like this.
I mean, I agree in principle, but I think they want to keep that minimized as much as possible. And in most cases, for a lot of these guys, I would really rather they retire the character in the cinematic universe rather than replacing the actor. So yeah, you could absolutely have someone else play Captain America. You could have someone else play Tony Stark. But I would prefer if they just like, okay, Robert Downey Jr. can't do these movies anymore, or he can only come in for the brief cameo, he can do a voiceover. I'd really rather they just did that instead.
I just find this whole thing about them, this whole thing of that it's like they've got to do the new Avengers because all the old Downey, but he doesn't do a lot of action stuff. He can just keep turning up in a suit and being this. It's like he's actually got the easiest job. It's not like he's got the Chris Evans kind of shirt off, pulling things together with all his muscles. Iron Man can hide away a lot easier.
Well, that's actually probably why Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth wouldn't necessarily want to come back, because they've got to go through those rigorous physical changes between every movie. So I can totally understand that. But this really does come down to the next question, though, which is what happens after Avengers 4, because a lot of the named characters kind of won't be around anymore. But you can see they've already been planning for this. The whole Phase 3, and Captain Marvel's already being positioned to become the new
captain,
the new captain, the new face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Avengers 4, or Black Panther as well. And these are good things. Now we've had the famous characters, and we will still have the famous characters there to be utilized or to be referenced. But let's let the secondary characters start getting their moment in the sun.
But no, I think this whole thing about them done. I think the only one. I think everyone's waiting for Hawkeye to snuff it. That seems to be the one that everyone's waiting for. I don't know why. It's like just because
Jeremy Renner's one of the few I'd be kind of like, I could see him doing movies for another 20 years.
But also at the same point as well, like with his character, he died in the comic books, but was just then they did the same thing with Coulson, but at least they don't give him a TV show, bring him back into the real thing. But it's going to be interesting what they do with this one. But the trailer just really sold it to me.
I was already sold on it. But.
It's that thing of this really did do it. I mean, I think it's already the most watched trailer of all times. I think it was up to, I remember it being 500,000 views within like 20 minutes. I don't think it's up to like 200-300 million views now. It's just generally along the lines of, it's like, this is what happens when you plan, DC. It's like this is what
it's at 84 million right now.
Yeah, it's just like, I think that's the big thing of, I think this trailer did more than Justice League did in 2 minutes than it probably did in 2 hours of Justice League.
There's clearly more storytelling to this. There's more emotional story to this. And just that moment, almost every character on screen gets at least that, like, oh yeah, this is my favorite character, and look how awesome he or she looks in this moment. It'll be still very hard for this movie to do as well at the box office as the original Avengers movie, because people are now kind of complacent with it. And we're definitely kind of seeing that slow slide down of the superhero genre. But
I think,
having said that, this one, it might give it a temporary boost back up, at least to get Captain Marvel boosted up. And then, of course, Avengers 4 will do extremely well, provided that this is actually a good movie.
I think this one will do massive numbers because of the cast. Because this will be this kind of thing, like, this is what everything's been building towards, but you've essentially got 15 to 20 different movie franchises all crashing into one that we've never seen before. I mean, we've seen these little, we see little cameos and stuff, but you're bringing everybody in together. This is something that's, we saw it with Civil War, of the buzz around that, but this is going to be twice the size of that.
Right. And the only thing that disappoints me, and this isn't a surprise, we knew this going in, is that none of the TV characters, none of the Netflix characters, none of the Runaways or whatever are in there. Like I said, we knew that going into it. They've been very specific about keeping them out of it, but it would be so great if even just like a 10-second clip of like Daredevil going through Hell's Kitchen, just beating the snot out of some of these aliens with Luke Cage, and that's all. You don't need to explain them in the movie. You don't need to go into their backstory. They're just there in Hell's Kitchen beating up aliens. Not going to happen, but it would be awesome.
Or even I actually had the same thought of like having Quake and Shield literally just turn up in a truck, get out, and start shooting at him, and then they can kill them all off. But have Thanos literally just plant them with one big fist, take them all out, and that's the show gone. That's
actually, you know what? The ending of Avengers 4 should be Phil Coulson showing up with the gun from the first Avengers and blowing away Thanos, and just being like, "Hi guys," and everyone from the first movie is just like, "What?" and then the movie ends. That's just the end of the movie.
It's like that really bad thing. Like, he got killed off, and all the Avengers are all hyped up because of his death. They've never mentioned him since, and he's got his own TV series for 5 years. But yeah.
You would think at least Captain America would have known about it. I mean, if Captain America knew who killed, what is that noise? I don't know. If Captain America knew who killed Iron Man's parents, then you would think he would know Phil Coulson was alive.
Yes.
But it's not like Phil Coulson's been doing a good job of hiding either.
No.
It's like, Thor and the Dark Elves just tore up London. And who's standing right there? Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
So,
Right. On that note, guys, let us know what you guys think of the Infinity War trailer. Comment below. The cats outside don't seem to like it. But on that note, thank you very much for watching or listening. James, where can they find you?
Find me heroiclegacy.com.
And on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. See you guys soon. Later.